Good evening, good evening, good evening, tribe. How you guys doing this evening? This is Love and Hip Hop Season 3, Episode 2. Um, so this episode, you guys, I feel like they're still setting up the storylines for the season. You know, the first when you start a new season of a reality show, they got to set you up for the storylines. And last week gave us a little something, something, and this week I think they're further doing that. So it's honestly, it's not a lot here. I'm gonna let you know how what happened though. So Boogie, I'm gonna go person by person. I think will be the easiest way to do this review. So Boogie, Dame Dash son, we know that he has a drinking problem, and now we are finding out that he also has a drug problem. He's drinking lean. And for those who don't know what lean is a concoction of cough syrup and other stuff. See, I don't even know what lean is. I just know it's drugs, but and it's very dangerous. It's a very dangerous drug. Um, so we start the episode off with Dame Dash meeting with Master P, and they basically just talking about it. They chopping it up. Old heads talking about their kids, and they basically saying, you know, we hustled because we had to, and maybe we made things a little bit too easy for our kids because now they don't know how to hustle. They don't know. They don't understand the grind. Like everything just comes really easy to them. And growing up in these nice neighborhoods, going to these nice schools, maybe opened them up to drugs and alcohol in a different way than if they grew up in the hood. Because at the end of the day, drugs and alcohol exist everywhere. You know, whether you grew up in the hood, you grew up in Beverly Hills, whatever. And so Dame is just basically saying he's worried about his son. You know, he doesn't know if he's handling it the best way. That basically what he's done is cut Boogie off to say, look, I cannot financially support this. You know, I love you, but until you're ready to go get some professional help, I can't support this. He said, because, you know, the last thing I want is for you to be getting drugs on my dime. He took the car back because he was like, yo, what if he had gotten into an accident and driving drunk in the car that I bought him? And honestly, having gone through that in my family, that's really the best thing you do. An addict is not going to get help until they decide they want to get help, until they hit their rock bottom. And everybody's rock bottom is different. And I've said that in previous videos about different things in my family. You know, like I said, I had an uncle. His rock bottom was his daughter being born, and him realizing I don't want this for my child. And he did it himself. He didn't go to a program. He didn't have to. He cleaned himself up. Everybody can't do that. And everybody's rock bottom isn't going to be that simple, that easy. You know, some people's rock bottom is being on the street. Some people don't never hit their rock bottom. And Boogie is in denial. And, you know, basically Master P's like, look, I'm gonna reach out to Boogie because if it were I've gone through that in my family. You know, if you looked at the first season of this, you saw where he has a situation with one of his daughters having a drug problem, and he's like, I've been through this, and I know I don't want to bury any of my children, and I know he don't want to bury any of his children, and so later on in the episode, Master P actually talks to Boogie. He actually calls him over and he talks to Boogie. And Boogie's attitude is basically, I'm not going to disrespect him. He an old head. I got respect for him. However, I don't have no problem and I wish everybody leave me the fuck alone. That's pretty much his attitude. He's like, my dad is making a big deal of this. Why is my dad telling everybody my business? And his whole conversation is crackhead. It's some crackhead shit. It's a crackhead conversation. That is his whole. If you've seen it, you dealt with it, you talked, you know that's what Boogie talking about. So Master P basically gets mad. Y'all know how he get. His patience ain't but that. And so he was like, look, I feel like you taking this whole conversation as a joke. He was like, if you was my son, I'd have jacked your ass up. Because, you know, it's not a joke. It's not, we're not playing. Like, what if your sister, because he had the drugs in his sister's room. He was like, what if your sister had stumbled into that and took the drugs? And Boogie was just kind of like, that'd be bad. You know what I mean? So Master P got real pissed off. He walked off and he was like, yo, you taking this shit for a joke. It's not no joke. Like, you know, you need to go apologize to your father because I know your father don't want to bury you because I wouldn't want to bury my child, you know. So then we see Angela in New York talking to JoJo. I think JoJo's going to be on the season. Last week I wasn't sure if it was just in that scene or he's going to be on the show, but it seems like JoJo might be coming on to the show this season. So Angela's talking to JoJo and she's talking about how bad the weather is and how she's thinking about moving because she just needs some new space. She needs to change her energy. You know, she's dealing with the breakup with the fiance and the father of her child. And that's basically setting it up for Angela to come out to LA because I guess they're not going to do the bi-coastal thing. You know, the last couple of seasons, Angela kind of was doing her own thing and they kept going back and forth. But I guess she's going to come out to LA for the season because she said, well, you know, this stretches out through the whole episode, but basically she decides she's gonna move to LA temporarily because Reverend Run and his wife actually have moved to LA recently, and so I guess there's really nobody else, like most of her, not nobody else because her mom and that side of her family is still in New York, but as far as Vanessa and her dad and her stepmom and everything, they're already out on the West Coast, and so she decides, excuse me, sorry y'all, she decides that she is going to move to the West Coast and temporarily just to get a new energy, a new vibe. We see that she meets with her life coach, and it sounds like she got the life coach to help her process through the breakup. And she actually opened up. You know, Angela doesn't really give you a lot, but she did open up a little bit. She hasn't come right out and said that this man cheated on her, but the insinuation is there that he cheated on her. He stepped out on their relationship. The life coach said, you know, do you think you'll go back? And she was like, I can't. Like, I cannot go back. And what she admitted was that basically she was guilty for a long time because she did actually betray the promise that she felt like she made to God and the promise she made to herself that she would wait till marriage. And so she feels like not only did she have sex, you know, out of wedlock, but she got pregnant. And so she feels like she said she carried that guilt for a long time, which basically pushed her into staying in this relationship longer than she probably should have because she wanted to make it work, you know? And I get it. I get it. Had she never gotten pregnant, her and this dude probably would have broke up a long time ago. But because she did get pregnant, she wanted to make it work and she tried and she stayed probably longer than she should have. And she said in the process, she lost herself. And so anyway, but you know, Angela don't normally give us a lot of her personal, and so it was interesting to get some of that insight. So she does end up moving to LA, and her and Rome are talking back and forth, and you know, Rome, he's talking to his dad about it, and his dad is like, so what's up? Like, okay, she's single now, she moving out here, what you gonna do? And Rome is like, you know, maybe I will shoot my shot. Like, she's single, you know, maybe I will, you know, see what's out there for me. And that's going to be interesting when I get to the next part of this story, a recap. So then we see Egypt in the studio with her boyfriend. She brings TT and Troy through. Now, y'all know, this need to be called the TT and Troy show because TT and Troy keep the shit going. And they're cool with, I mean, again, every reality show needs a bone carrier. Every reality show needs a shit stirrer. And that is their role, and I think they're comfortable with that. But they're in the studio with Egypt and Egypt's boyfriend. I forget his name, but it's irrelevant. And he's talking about how he wrote this song for Egypt and how they got this tight beat that DJ Quickson is going to do for them. Now, I don't know if DJ Quickson is going to become a character this season because he is, you know, a son of hip hop. But he was in this particular scene. And he comes through with the beat. And when the beat starts playing and they actually start performing the song, her boyfriend is rapping and he's got like this whole verse. And then what you end up seeing is Chris is just doing the hook. So TT and Troy are sitting back like, well, wait a minute. This isn't Egypt's song. Egypt is singing the hook. Like, it's DJ Quick's beat. It's the boyfriend's song. And Egypt is just like a feature. And so they were like, maybe, you know. And then the other thing is we find out that he has 2 children by 2 different mothers. He's 24 and he has 2 kids. And again, shit happens, you know what I mean? That doesn't make him a bad guy. My question would be, is he taking care of those 2 kids? That's the question. But it doesn't make him a bad guy that he has 2 kids. So, you know, TT and Troy are just kind of like, we're going to keep an eye on this dude because not quite sure how this is working out. So we'll get back to them. Then we see Egypt and Brianna. Here's where the shit gets messy. Brianna is recapping the other night, how everything went down the other night. And basically she's like, yeah, Rome was flirting with me. I was looking good and Rome couldn't keep his eyes off me. And then here comes TT. And Egypt was like, well, he was I saw he was kind of flirting with you or whatever, And, Brianna was like, yeah, so tell your cousin, stay in her lane and, keep her hot box away from Rome. And I'm like, Rome ain't thinking about you. Rome probably ain't thinking about TT. Rome is thinking about Angela. But okay. All right. So later on, Romeo was setting up a photo shoot for his clothing line. Was it still Romeo, just Romeo, Romeo forever? Something like that. And he invites TT, Brianna, Egypt to come and model for him. I find it interesting that Christiana wasn't invited. She's not on this episode at all, so I don't know what that's about. And we know, anyway, I'm not going to go down that road. But yeah, so she wasn't there at all. So it was a pool party / photo shoot, because everything's a party. So when Brianna shows up, Egypt is already there, and so is TT. And they're already taking pictures. And TT has the top on. It's like the cut-off hoodie. And she's got a bikini bottom and then the hoodie up top. And Brianna walks in, and Brianna looks cute. I ain't gonna front. She's got this real cute bikini with a cover up, and she got her little sun hat. Hair looks cute. Her makeup is cute. I mean, she really looks cute. But she showed up for a pool party. You know what I mean? But she showed up for a pool party with somebody she was flirting with. You know what I mean? And she sees TT in Rome, and of course they're flirting, and they're doing what they need to do to get the picture and all that good stuff. And Brianna's getting pissed. Brianna's got an attitude. Brianna is mad about it. Again, Rome ain't thinking about y'all. But anyway, so yeah, Brianna is mad at TT, and she's got an attitude. And TT tries to pull her aside to kind of talk to her, because she was like, I'm feeling a vibe. Like, me and you already have always been cool. Like, is something wrong? Did I do something? Did I offend you? And y'all know bitchy ass Brianna with her nasty ass responded in her normal nasty bitchy way. And TT was like, okay, Brianna's like, whatever, no, yeah. And so, TT was like, all right, well, she was like, I'm just not in the mood to talk today. I don't feel like talking about it today. Like, she was just like, all right, well, I guess I'll catch you another time when you might feel like talking. You know what I mean? And TT really, truly doesn't get it. Like, she really, truly doesn't understand what the problem is. And anyway, so that's brewing. And like I said, the two of them are arguing back and forth over Romeo. Well, they weren't arguing. Like I said, TT wasn't arguing at all. And she was flirting with Romeo. But I think they just both are flirts. I think they're both just flirts. But Romeo's not thinking about either one of them. Like, he certainly ain't thinking about Brianna like that. And I hate to say it like that, but I really don't. I don't think he's ever done anything to make Brianna think that he was interested in her. And by her own admission, she even said that. She even said that, well, Romeo is really interesting because we'll see each other at events and he'll flirt with me, and then we won't talk again until the next time we see each other. And I'm like, well, then that's clearly somebody that's not interested in you. Because if he was interested in you, he certainly knows how to get in contact with you. Right? Right. So anyway, also at the photo shoot is Egypt. Now, when Egypt told her boyfriend about the photo shoot, he was like, what? You don't need to be modeling for nobody but me. Well, you let them know that I'm coming. I'm RSVPing. You let them know that I'm going to be there. And you saw him like stalking. I ain't going to say he was stalking, but he was just like up in the cut, like staring at her the whole time while she was taking the pictures. And she wasn't in anything revealing. Again, she had on like a jacket. And she may have had on a bikini bottom. I don't know. But up top, it was like a jacket. Like, she wasn't half naked or anything inappropriate. No, so later on, when TT is talking to Troy, like, did you catch a vibe off of Brianna? Like, did you feel something coming off of Brianna? And Troy was like, well. And so she's talking to Troy about, like, did you feel some vibe off of Brianna? And Troy was like, well, because I told y'all they the shit stirrers. when y'all were taking y'all pictures, I made a comment about y'all making a cute couple, and she got an attitude and was like, well, TT, she's a flirt, and Romeo's a flirt too. So, then they proceed to have a conversation about Egypt and the boyfriend. And Troy was like, I don't really like the way he was just kind of like stalking around her. And TT was like, yeah, I was kind of peeping some stuff too. Like, I don't know, I'm just not really getting a good vibe off of him. And then Troy, because Troy knows everything. Remember, he was the one that knew the tea last season on Christiana and Adonis. That probably wasn't true, but he spread the rumor anyway. Come to find out, he was like, well, I know one of his baby mamas, and she was like, make sure that Egypt doesn't get pregnant because that's how he locks you in, and that he, did things to keep her separated from her friends and to alienate her from her friends. And see, that's signs of an abuser, but I ain't going to take it there. And he is thirsty. He is thirsty for fame and would do anything to get it. And so TT was like, so you think he's running like a long con? Like, you think that's what he's doing? And, Troy was like, oh, no, girl, but let's talk to Pep. So Angela is in LA and she talks to Romeo and they're going to hook up. So, that's, like I said, that's setting all of that up. I think I already said that, so I'm sorry if I repeated myself. The only other thing that happened was, I think I covered everything else. The only other thing that happened was TT and Troy did talk to Pep. And I don't know, the way Pep is handling this whole situation is crazy to me. Because first she done bought the boy a car to do Uber because he don't have no job, which that's some crazy shit anyway. And then they're telling you what they've heard. They're telling you the word on the street and all of that. Now, last season when it was Christiana, you didn't have no problem believing what Troy told you. You didn't have no problem thinking that Christiana was sleeping with her manager and the other stuff that they gossiped about. But now that it's Egypt and her boyfriend, you don't want to believe it, talking about, y'all not really bringing me no facts. Y'all not bringing me no facts. Everything y'all saying is just innuendo. Well, I feel like they did bring you some facts. I mean, Troy was like, I talked to the mother of one of his children, and we were in the studio. We saw what happened with the song, and we were at the photo shoot. We saw how he was acting. So I don't know what it is that Pep isn't not. Well, no, I take that back. I know what it is. She took it that they were questioning Egypt and Egypt's ability to, I guess, see through Troy, the boyfriend's bullshit. But that's not what they were saying. They were like, we know that we're not judging Egypt. Everybody can fall in love with a dude that ain't right, or a girl that ain't right. We're saying that he ain't right. Like, we're not judging her. And that's how Pep was taking it. And, TT was like, well, she is the baby, and we have kind of kept her sheltered. And maybe she can't see stuff the way we would see stuff, but we're not judging her for that. So anyway, that was just pretty much all that really went down. They setting up the Boogie drug addict thing. They setting up the Egypt boyfriend situation. And they setting up the Brianna, Angela, TT love triangle that Romeo and Angela don't know they in. But anyway, drop it in them comments. Y'all let me know what y'all think.